Relax and get loose while I put you up on game. The Figure Booth with Josh and Nate. This that podcast folk. Those in the know. Batman vs. Iron Man. How would it go? We talking one of a kind. Collectibles. Mezco toys are respectable. It's unacceptable if it's not in the packaging. Nate don't take pics if you ain't rapping it. Nate's dirty tricks are always happening. But damn it, man, don't you be stressing. Round here we believe in plastic confessions. We trying to figure out the figures that's gonna stand the test of time. That G.I. Joe handmade hit me in the spine. There's perfection in the way that these toys are made. But I also wanna know, do I pick Wade or Slade? So this is where I come to kick it with the guys. The Figure Booth. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Figure Booth, here where we talk about the modern day collector and the ups and downs that you face or we face. We go over our weekly pre-orders, we share our weekly hauls that we call Plastic Confessions, and we also from time to time do interviews with those in the toy community. I'm your host Josh, aka Prime to the First, and I'm joined by my friend co-host FigureFan_Nate. Say
hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in. You've reached episode 81, which we're calling Pulse Check.
Are we still there? Are we still alive? Is this thing still on?
I think I'm still alive.
There
What's
you go.
A normal pulse? Is it like
60 over 80? 120 over
60 over 80?
Like,
I don't know.
Is it? How many beats? I don't know. But
yeah, I think 60 over 80 sounds about right. Who knows? We're not.
Is it the 80-20 rule?
Here.
Who knows what the average pulse is, depending on where you're at. Are you on a hunt? Maybe it's 120 over 80.
Elevated, right? Yeah.
A little elevated.
Are you trying to get that pre-order in? You know, when you're worried the time's going to run out? Are you trying to buy that
Mezco exclusive? Which I don't think we've heard a lot of like craziness
about. It's gotten better
like
over
before,
time.
Right? That's kind of like died out.
Mm-hmm. I remember, like you're talking about back in the day, they would do an exclusive. You don't even look at it, you'd buy it, and then within 10 to 15 minutes, it's gone.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't happen anymore. It usually ends up on BBTS.
No, yeah, that's true. And I think we kind of forget about that. But before we dive right into it, we thought of kind of calling this a pulse check just to kind of like see where we're at. First quarter of 2023 is almost done. A lot of stuff has been hitting the shelves. In a couple months, we're going to be halfway done with 2023. It's be crazy. So what better time to kind of just like do a quick check, right? See where your collection's at. What new acquisitions have you gotten? Are you headed down the right path? What's up with that budget plan? Are you sticking to the budget? And any goals that you set, like resolution at the beginning of the year wasn't that far ago. You know, it was just 3 months ago. So I don't know, it's kind of crazy. We start off the year so strong. We have all these goals. 3 months into it, I think I forgot what goals I had set for myself. And I've been trying to get rid of a lot of my collection. So I think that's kind of what the theme is for this conversation. It's just kind of a pulse check where we're at.
Yeah, I think things change over time, and even it's weird to think that we're almost at the end of quarter one because it feels like the year just started, and you've got these ideas going into the year, things you're going to try to do. You got this new budget. Are you sticking close to that budget or not? Have you bought the figures you thought you were going to buy? Is your collection going a different way? Are you seeing things that maybe makes you want to change your mind about your collecting, and just keeping yourself honest? I think it's easy to make excuses for ourselves about like, hey, I'm not hitting the budget because of this, or I'm collecting too much because of this, or I'm not selling stuff because of that. And you got to like have these checks with yourself to make sure you're staying on the right path. And if you're not, maybe ask yourself, somebody's going to love this. What's my why? Is it still the same thing as it was 3 months ago or even a year ago? Do I need to change my thought process? So we're just more of a casual conversation, probably focusing on ourselves, but hopefully it's relatable to you guys, and
for sure,
kind of just things we're seeing out there.
And a lot of things have really dropped. Like just recently, the NECA Holothon, where it was like 3 waves of just, and I feel like a lot of us were going crazy over the stuff they were dropping because it was so on one end, it was so easily accessible because you're seeing like shelves just full of stuff, like everyone's getting it. At the same time, like it is kind of hard because if you don't get it as soon as it's there on the shelves. They're gone. I've gone to Targets and you can see the aftermath. I'm like, oh, okay, it was stocked today, but then I'm showing up to Target like at 5 in the afternoon, 6 in the afternoon, and it's just like leftovers. It's like, the hyenas already
Yeah.
got to it, and I'm just okay. But it's still cool to see because you can tell definitely when they fulfill all that NECA stuff and it's on there, or you go to an end cap and you're like, oh look, here's even more. And seeing, I've ran into a lot of GI Joe stuff too, like some of their army builders. I've seen some of the Tiger Force stuff where before that was super super rare, and it's again just reminding me it's a great time to be a collector because there's so much on these stinking pegs at my eye level, and the 6-year-olds can't reach it, so that's awesome. And then it goes in clearance within like a week or two. I'm seeing some crazy prices, so that kind of like it does elevate my pulse. I'm like, oh, I gotta get some GI Joes, I gotta get some Legends, I gotta get some NECA, I gotta get this, But then I'm like, wait, hold on, let's just like pause, pump the brakes, and then I come back like in 3 weeks, and like half that stuff is on clearance. Scooping up Legends for $7. $7, I'll scoop up Legends. $27.99, I'm probably gonna have to be. It's gonna be a pass.
It's one of those things like we've talked about before. We're not big hunters, but at least over time we've sort of gotten out of it. But the more you see like these NECA drops and things that don't get released on the NECAstore.com or on Target.com, or they sell out right away, the stuff that goes on clearance and discount, and it makes you think like maybe this thought process I have of sticking to online isn't always the most beneficial for me because I'm missing out on stuff where I can get a better deal.
Oh yeah.
Or, it's like beggars can't be choosers too. You know what I mean? Like the people that are desperate to get these sets, and I'm not saying people aren't
I'm
hunting.
Desperate. I'm a beggar. What are you calling me here? You calling me names?
Like accessory sets, like
no, yeah,
the baby.
I almost
stuff,
paid for the shipping. It would have been pretty pricey.
Yeah,
and there's some stuff where I'm like, it's a gamble, but I always feel like playing the long game. Sometimes it does work. You walk casually through, and you're like, oh look, and you get it on sale, and it's like I don't have to pay the full retail price. I don't have to pay the shipping, and of course it's it's case by case because it's not with every figure. Of course, there's sometimes that one figure that if you really stick to your why that we always bring up, and it's really like that Triceratops. I really want it. I know I am not much of a hunter, and hey, who knows? Maybe that might change. I highly doubt it because I have to set a lot of time for that. But one of my buddies in SoCal, he was like, hey, if I come across it, do you want it? I'm like, yeah, I know I'm gonna have to pay for the shipping. I'm gonna, it's gonna cost me a little bit more, but that's saving me time of me having to go to, several Targets in my area. I don't have to do any of that. I don't care. Like, I don't mind in that case. I don't mind paying the extra $10-15 because of the shipping. And I know it's a hefty guy in order to get that. It's already like, okay, done and done. That's the only thing I knew for sure I wanted was that Triceratops. And I'm ecstatic. I haven't seen them at my Targets, and I've been lately to the Targets a couple times a week. Of course, I show up like at 6 p.m. when everything's already gone. But no sweat off my back. It's like, hey, I got my Triceratops. I'm happy as can be.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, especially with NECA, like, that early bird catches the worm holds pretty true. If you're not going out there as soon as you're seeing people post about it, you might miss it. And I always ask, are the people that are going and hating on NECA's page because they're not getting something, are they the ones that actually are they doing the hunting themselves, or are they just hoping that it ends up online and then it's not, and so they're mad at NECA because they're missing out?
Yeah, then they show up to the store at lunchtime.
Right, you got to be honest with yourself. Like, how much effort are you trying to put in to get this? And I'm not saying people out there aren't putting in effort. I'm sure there's people that have gone to multiple stores and have gotten this stuff, but persistence pays. And if you really want
that hunt, you're right. With that hunt, it definitely is persistence. But the early bird does get an early bird game is a young man's game. Like not my game. Like, I'm not waking up early. I'm gonna true. But here's the thing. So yes, I do wake up early, but I don't decide to go to Target. Lately, I haven't been. I wake up early. I'll take my dog for a walk, or I'll work out, or enjoy my coffee, and then it's like, it's this whole day-to-day routine stuff that's really boring that a lot of you don't want to hear about. But it's like getting ready for work, taking the kids to school, getting a workout in before I have to start my day, so I can just kind of like prepare myself mentally. Or when I didn't have these responsibilities, I would just prep. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hit up these 4
Mhm.
Targets, I'm gonna hit up these 4 Walgreens, all on my commute to work, and then I'll be the first one there. Or I'm, racing against other collectors, and we're tripping each other down the aisle. It's just that's not. I don't have the time for that anymore.
Right, right. Well, and I always feel like it's a, opportunity cost. What am I giving up by
Mm-hmm.
spending all this extra time trying to hunt? And to your point,
Yeah.
I've got other things that I want to do. I'd
Yeah.
rather go work out
Or sleep in.
or sleep in, work on a toy
Yeah.
shop, go do something with my wife. It's like
Yeah.
I've got other priorities in my life other than just figures, which is how it should be.
Right.
I
And
feel like if
and no, and not to cut you off, but like that was kind of the reason behind the topic, that we wanted to kind of just have a conversation, super casual, like you said, but hopefully it resonates with fellow collectors, and to remind you, like, hey, do a quick pulse check. Like
Mhm.
for myself, I was like, what's going on with my collection right now? Right now, I feel so distant with my collection. And what was it you said before we came on? Like, am I losing interest? Like, am I not? I don't know. I'm not feeling the connection there anymore. I have the Mesco Conan and the Constantine that I got. I literally just have them here sitting on the desk, but I haven't taken them out of their accessories fully out of the box. They're just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
here, you know.
Mhm.
Constantine, I put the smoke effect in his jacket. That's about it. Everything else still in the box. Normally, I would take everything out. I would kind of mess with it. I organize it. The box is just sitting there on the floor. I'm like, eh.
So you feel
I
like
have
you're
stuff.
maybe losing some of the passion for the
Yeah.
collecting.
And it's probably because the creative juice isn't flowing. Like
Mhm.
I'm not inspired to build stuff. I'm not inspired to take any shots. I'm not losing interest on within the podcast or the streams. I still love doing that. I still love
Yeah.
showing up every week, trying to bring you guys a new episode. But I mean, as far as collecting, like I'm sure there's some of you out there that every once in a while you're like, I feel like I'm doing this just for the sake of doing it. Like it's
Right.
just because this is my new norm. And I've kind of put a pause on pre-ordering so much stuff, like especially right now. Like so much new stuff has come out.
Mhm.
You could fill in the blank, put in your favorite line, and they've dropped something, right? And I'm
Right.
like, I just want to put a pause on it, on everything, because one, I want to remember what my blueprint was, and my blueprint or my plan was to get rid of a bunch of my stuff that's been sitting in bins. It's like leave no figure behind. I want to get rid of all my bins. I don't want to have stuff in bins anymore. I want to be able to display the majority of my collection,
I'm the same way.
and still and do like really get back into toy photography. And I'm seeing so much um creative stuff and collaboration amongst creators right now. That to me is like it's kind of wheeling me back in, where I'm like, oh man, stuff that like work more or less is doing with some of, and he's showing the behind the scenes, and he's giving you the tips and tricks.
Mhm.
All this collaboration that's going on with these shots. um that to me is really like motivating, where I'm like, I just need to make time for it. But before I make time, I need to make space. And then before I make space, I need to get rid of all these figures. And they sound like excuses, but I want to flip the script on them and change them from excuses to like, hey, these are goals or small benchmarks I need to do so I can get more organized and have like a clearer path of some type of feeling of satisfaction, that hey, now my collection, now I have like a clear connection with my collection because I'm taking pictures, or I'm building stuff, I'm going back to the budget dials, or I'm going back to
Right.
redesigning, and being more consistent with the arcades and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Just getting back to that. But I think right now I'm in this very like reset mode, where I gotta look at how am I approaching everything, if
Yeah,
that
and
makes
I
sense.
I think
Yeah.
it's really important to recognize and not force an idea that has been a part of your life maybe for a long time, and
Yeah.
you're thinking, well, I got to keep doing it because I've always done it. Like what am I
Right.
going to do
Yes. Yeah.
when I don't do that? And I think that's a dangerous game because you're not really paying attention to what your true wants and needs are. You're kind of just trying to fill a certain role that you feel you need to fill in your life, and that can cause you to collect and buy things that you really just maybe don't care about.
That's so
And
true.
it's because we feel like we're in this rat race with collecting and trying to compete with other people.
Hmm.
But I think me included, you got to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and you're doing it for yourself and not for other people.
Yeah.
And I've slowed down as well, realizing that I probably was intaking a bit too much, too fast. That became the norm. You feel like you got to keep up with that. Like, okay, well, I got to keep collecting so I can stay relevant.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, does it really matter if you have a certain figure or not? There's so many different tastes out there from different collectors. I see people that don't collect any Mezco.
Yeah.
You know, but they're still very relevant and they're still doing their own thing and they seem happy. And I think that's important. You want to make sure you're remaining happy. And if keeping you happy is maybe getting out of the collecting game for a while, then that's just, you know, you got to recognize that and not try to make, and I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying for anybody listening, if you feel like the passion is just drying out, maybe try stepping away and doing something else. And then if you really want to get back into it, it will come back to you naturally. Because that's something that you really care about. But it's important to recognize when you're losing that and maybe shift that focus for a little bit.
No, and it's really great that you kind of said, like, asking yourself why you're doing it and kind of reassuring yourself, because to a certain extent, if you're just doing it just because it's always been the norm, I almost feel like, you know, comparing that to like, hey, we got a headache, I'm just gonna take this aspirin because I always take this Tylenol, and it's like we're just popping a pill just to band-aid the solution, you know.
It's a habit,
and it's just it creates a bad habit. But what I started to know, and the only reason why it really, like, this topic or this conversation really brainstormed out of, I liked, or I think I commented on one of Wade's posts, and I have one, you can tell by my IG, I haven't been posting a whole lot, and it's not for any, like, it's not that there is any good reason for it. It's not that, oh, I'm not creative or I'm stuck or I'm in a rut. I'm just I'm really like, the workspace is not to my level as organized as I want to be. It's really disorganized. Like right here, down here, what you guys can't see, it's such a mess, and that drives me bonkers. I'm like, I need to get it. I need to clean up. The reason it's a mess because I went through this whole, like, I'm gonna do these sales, and I was getting stuff out of boxes, and then I just never went back and cleaned it up. So it's just it's a fucking mess.
Well, I got the same thing going on, you know, where this is, and I didn't want it to be this way, but this is where I work as well.
Yeah.
I don't really want this to be my figure room because then that's distracting me from work. So it's like sort of like a pseudo room where I work, but I also bring figures in here.
Yeah,
and then,
same here.
You know,
I work there, so I have work clothes in here. I have
I don't like that
some
mechanic.
of my pre-order boxes in here. It's just it's a messy room, and it reminds me of what Trevor said. Like, I don't want to walk in here and be stressed out. So a lot of times I avoid this room. I just come in here, we do the podcast, we do the stream. I'm like, it's such a fucking mess, and I walk out. Right. The same thing happened with the workshop. Like, we had this crazy ass weather, and I know it's gonna come off and it sound like excuses, but we had this crazy ass weather. We still been having some crazy ass storms, and that just so because like and the other thing is we've only been in this house. We're barely hitting the second year mark, and if you've ever moved, sometimes it takes you like years to finally unpack
it takes a long
everything.
Time to
right?
Settle.
We've been in here barely 2 years. We're like a year and 6 months. We haven't even hit the full 2-year mark, and there's still stuff in boxes, right? And there's still stuff like spread out in the backyard. Well, this crazy ass storm was what we got hit out of nowhere. I threw everything. I was just like scrambling like a freaking chicken with his head cut off. I threw a bunch of, like, we had all this recycle plant. I think we had just had a barbecue, so I was just throwing stuff wherever I could find it. We have like a shed out in the backyard. I threw a bunch of stuff in the shed, and then once I ran out of room, I threw a bunch of stuff in the garage. So I was just throwing stuff like a madman. And now I'm like, fuck, why the hell did I do that? Like, my workshop in my garage where I do a lot of, like, where I would go just get creative, it's a mess. There's like boxes in there. There's like lawn chairs. You name it, it's like it's in there. And I'm like, half this stuff, I'm like, this is just it's another huge task that I look at it and I'm like, yep, not gonna do that today. So it's things like that just kind of like damper the mood. And then the weather's been shitty. Like, it's crazy how all these little things, like, they add up, and you're like, I don't want to deal with it right now. I don't want to do it.
Well, and it's not fun.
No,
you know, there's nothing fun about cleaning a workspace. But it's one of those things, and I agree with you. I'm not saying that I'm any better than you are, but you want to always, like, respect your space.
Yeah.
You know, and stay organized. I think being organized is, like, really important, especially with being a collector.
Yep.
And I'm not good about it either.
It's crazy how clean and organized, if you have a space, how
Yeah,
clean and
it makes you
organized
feel
you
better.
keep it. It does. It makes you feel better. It makes you much more productive. You're able
Yeah.
to focus. You're like, okay, you have, even if you have your collection like really clean and organized, you see what you have. It's easy to reach. You can take pictures. You have an easy setup, especially if designated and dedicated space for it. Like right
Mhm.
now, if I want to take a shot or get even inspired, I have no space in this freaking room and that's my fault because I haven't taken the time to really like figure out, okay, what's a good layout for this room.
Mhm.
But to kind of wrap up the story, like how this kind of stemmed to have this pulse check was all this stuff that has been kind of like adding up in the weather and fucking us moving in and unboxing and trying to take care of house projects and just balancing everything. It does, like we've always said, like you got to find that work life balance, and then even between
Mhm.
life, like hobby and priorities and responsibilities balance, because it can't be all about figures. It can't be
Right.
all about like your 9 to 5 job. Not one thing should take up 100% of your time. You got to divvy up your time, right?
Mhm.
um but I've been finding very, very little time to dedicate to the community, like whether it's DMs and us going back and forth, or me giving shit to Mario, or vice versa, or 78, or just you and I, just I have a very, very small window because of my day-to-day stuff that is sometimes really, really hectic. Got little ones, trips, we've talked about this, vacations, all this stuff, right? So every once in a while I will, and lately I've been trying to dedicate like more and more time. So it's like, okay, these next couple hours is just so I can like dive into whatever social media I want, whether it's YouTube or IG, and just get caught up. And like the other day, it was the before our live last week, it was the Motu stuff that Wade had
Mhm.
just been posting, and I was like, and we used to have this thing where I would always comment on any of his posts, just bunch of flames, and I would put "Let's go," and then it went from "Let's go" to like a Mario "Let's go." Like it gets crazy. With everything with Wade,
Mhm.
it gets like, you know, taken
Elevated.
yes, elevated. So I
Yeah.
just put a ton of flames, and I put a "Let's go," and then he responded. He's like, "Hey, hope all is well with you," and I was like, the hell, the fuck's that supposed to mean? Hope, of course, everything. Like, have I been
Just
MIA that long? Is my presence not felt? I'm like, I need to do a pulse check. Like, have I been removed that long that I need to start beef with Wade now again? Do I have to go and show up to his streams? And I'm like, you know what? When's the last time I was in a stream? I used to be consistently there. I'm like, you
Mhm.
know what? Maybe I'm
Mhm.
not giving him. Maybe that's his way of telling me, hey, he misses me. He wants to give me a hug, a virtual hug. Wade,
Yeah,
just bring it in,
it's
Wade.
cool that he even said
Yeah,
that, because it's
it's
more
cool
of
that
like
he acknowledged
recognizing
me.
like, hey, yeah, I haven't seen you. I hope
Yeah,
you're okay.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I
And
think we
again,
need to do that more for people that
yes,
have been friends
yeah,
in the community. And if somebody's giving you a lot of support, you want to give that back,
yeah,
because they're taking their time to do it. We all know it takes time to comment. It takes time to go through and like everybody's things,
yeah,
to jump into streams.
yeah,
I'm not the best about it either. I try to jump in as many as I can, but
yeah.
truth is, it's rare that I can get into one, and it's
And
usually on the weekends or something.
at the end of the day,
Um,
Wade's a big guy. Like he has. There's so much
yeah, he
comments.
doesn't
His lives
need
has.
us,
He
right?
didn't need to do that, but the fact that I'm like, you know what? That kind of made me feel a certain way in a good way. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy probably misses me. He's probably thinking about me a lot. He probably wants to like hang out with me, and like we can just hold pinkies and skip down some beach or something. I don't know. Or he can carry me, and I can just like stroke his beard and stuff like
Hey, it
that. Who
never hurts
knows?
to dream, Prime. It never hurts to dream.
We all got dreams. I'm just trying to don't be
Wade's
so.
thinking about me right now.
He wants to buy me a duster so we can have matching dusters.
Yeah,
And
that's cute.
at the end of the day, it was awesome. And I'm like, you know what? I should like let's see where is everyone at?
Hmm.
Do a quick pulse check. Like the other day, 78 sent me a bunch of very inappropriate DMs, but it was funny because he was just cursing at me, and I'm like, this guy, he misses me. Like he's thinking about it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just gonna ignore him. I left him on unread, and I didn't respond to the next day because I was busy.
He's all about that hard love, He's like the guy
Love
that
it.
that
That
picks on you in school
he is.
because he
Yeah.
secretly kind of likes you a little bit,
Yeah. And he puts a note in my backpack, and he's like, hey,
Right.
do you like me? Yes or no? Circle one.
We love you,
but
78.
but full circle, like that's the amazing part of the community. It's just kind of having those where they
Mhm.
reach out, they check in,
Mhm.
they do a quick, just like, hey, where you've been, and you're like, damn, I felt like I've been here, but maybe I haven't. Maybe I haven't been as interactive, or
Right.
maybe I do need to not necessarily step it up, but maybe I just need to again reevaluate like how am I spending my time? Am I really that creative? Right now, I'm in not I wouldn't say I'm not in a rut. I'm just like very messy, and I just need
Hmm.
to clear up and go back to like what were some of my goals. My goals were to get rid of all the figures in the bins. Okay, I need to get back to that. Like, have I been doing the lives? I haven't. Y'all know I haven't been doing those live sales, and the ones that I did were really great. It wasn't that they weren't great,
Hmm.
but like man, shit gets a little crazy. Life gets a little messy, um, and it's good to have these quick pulse checks because in a blink of an eye, like the first quarter already went by, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, I didn't buy a whole lot of stuff, which is good because I feel
Good.
like I didn't get caught up in that rat race that we always talk about. But then I'm like,
Right.
okay, second quarter's around the corner. What new figures are gonna about to drop? Where are my pre-orders at? Sometimes I feel like my pre-orders are just out of control, but I actually like took a pad and paper and I wrote some of it down, and I'm like, damn, I do have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pre-orders just from one site, one vendor. I have
I'm in,
8 with them. And I'm
I'm
like,
impressed that you had
damn,
that written down on a notepad.
I
That's
had to.
awesome.
I had to because again, I was like, you know what? Let
No, that's
me,
great.
yeah, that
That's part of that
hey,
budget.
budget
And
boot. Yep.
to your point, the pulse check is like, is my wish list still the same wish list?
Right.
Do I
Yep.
need to cancel any of these pre-orders? Because those things will sneak up on you, and then
Oh,
you're stuck with something that nobody
you,
wants.
yeah.
I'd rather just not buy it and not have to
Right.
worry about getting rid of it. And
Yeah.
that's the thing I've been thinking about too. Like if there's any inkling in my head that I don't really care for this, I'll
Yeah.
just go ahead and cancel it. And then if it
Yeah.
comes back around
Yeah.
to where I think about it again in maybe a month or a couple of weeks, I'm like, all right, maybe I will get it because I keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it's not just something that I saw on somebody's story. I'm like, yeah, that's dope. Let me get it because this guy's going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But like that wish list, keep pulse checking on that. Do I need all these pre-orders or can I cancel some?
Yeah.
I think another one is like creative ideas. Like, is there something that you've been wanting to do that maybe you've been putting off? And we're
Yeah.
talking about organizing. Maybe get the organizing done first and then go into new creative ideas so you don't
Right.
make it a bigger mess. But has there been something that you've been wanting to focus on? And are you making excuses for yourself or should I
Right.
just try it out and see how it works? Like,
Right.
I've always wanted to get into 3D printing and things like that. I just
Yeah.
make the
Yeah.
excuse that I don't have a 3D printer and I don't know what I'm doing, and that's just that.
Yeah.
But I have a really creative wife that would probably really help me out with it, and it's
Yeah.
something I should probably try a bit more than just making excuses not to do it. Same thing with like your works in progress. Is there like a project that you started that maybe you didn't finish for whatever reason? Is there something you need to get back to that could make you
Yep.
feel great about yourself by completing a long-term project and not adding to more? It's just things like that that I think you need
Yeah.
to constantly ask yourself these questions to keep yourself honest going forward and not create some kind of lie in your head about why you might be doing something or why you're not doing something, or I'm collecting because I feel like I have to keep up with the rat race, or whatever the case is. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're not into toy photography because maybe it's because you feel like you're not getting as much likes, and that for some reason is taking the passion away. I get it.
Yeah.
You want
Mm-hmm.
your work to be recognized and appreciated, and if that's not happening, then you feel less encouragement to want to do it. It's just stuff like that where you like it, and not in just in collecting, but in your everyday life and your work. Like you need to keep yourself honest and just have these pulse checks. Are you doing the things that you want to do? Am I hitting the goals that I wanted to hit? And if not, why? And be honest with yourself and don't make excuses.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's so easy to just come up with those excuses and just kind
Oh
of
yeah,
stay complacent, and that's the tough part. And I think
right.
once we start to recognize that, like right now I'm in the space where I'm recognizing, I'm like, man, I've been too like, okay, I can't blame the weather every single freaking day. I'm gonna have to like eventually like build some momentum, and I think that's the first step in that getting action done is building momentum. Just
Mm-hmm.
it's like a pendulum. And like once it starts going, like it's really hard to stop that good momentum. So hopefully, I don't, and I hate like what comes to mind is actions speak louder than words. So I rather not say anything and just like show all of you what my plans are, because there is a ton of stuff. I need to do this, I need to do that. And I'm like, I'd rather just do it and then just like have the audience enjoy it. And, then the feedback comes in. That's what I appreciate.
Well, I think sometimes to make those dreams more achievable, and this is something I try to do as well. It's okay. Let's use organizing your room as an example. It can be really daunting to look at that as one big project.
Yeah.
But if you start breaking that into steps, like, okay, let me create 6 steps on how I'm going to clean this room. First step, get everything in piles, piles,
Yeah.
Second step, figure out where I'm going to store it. So get some kind of storage in place. Third steps are organizing it. I don't know what the steps are going to be. Make them for yourself.
There's going to be a lot of steps here. It's going to be like a 12-step program.
But when you start knocking, you got like a checklist. You're like, okay, step 1's done. Step 2's done. You start feeling more motivated to keep it going.
That's true.
Because you're getting encouraged by like, okay, I'm making some progress. I'm getting somewhere.
I feel like you're pumping me up right now. I'm ready to clean this room up. Let's do
good.
it. Yeah.
I
like it.
Things can be really daunting when you think about everything all at once, but you take it one step at a time and you try to achieve one thing. Like today, I'm going to achieve one thing. And if you can do that, awesome. Because then that gives you motivation to want to achieve other things.
Today, I'm going to wake up.
Hey, that's a great goal.
I'm going to get out of bed today.
Today, I'm going to wake up and go to work.
Oh.
Awesome.
That's 2 steps. Wake up and go to work.
Right. At least take a shower. I'm going to wake up and then maybe take a shower.
Maybe take a shower. Maybe go to work.
Right.
Maybe go. And then some of us, or some of y'all, wake up and just go do the hunt. And it's like, whoa, dragon breath. You didn't shower. You
didn't brush your teeth.
Shave and shower. Like, come on.
That poor Target employee. Like,
just at least take care of hygiene before you do the hunt.
Yeah.
It's my only rule. Hygiene, then hunt.
And
hygiene and hunt.
Be nice to the employees. Those
man.
guys are just trying to get paid. They're just trying to do their job. And if they don't have your figure, then it's not their fault.
They don't need to smell your breath, dog shit breath. Yeah.
Well, and you catch more flies with honey, right?
Than with dog shit. Yeah.
You catch a lot of flies with dog shit too. Kill people with kindness. Don't be an asshole. That's basically all I'm trying to say. People will be more willing to do things for you if you are polite and kind than they will if you try to berate them and be rude. And this is in all situations. You don't get your point across by being an asshole. People just don't want to do things for you. So far in these first 3 months, what is your pulse check on your collection? Like, do you feel like you've overbought in? Do you feel like you're right on pace, or have you? I feel like Holothon threw a wrench into my plan a little bit. I ended up picking up probably more NECA stuff than I was planning on. So in that aspect, maybe I'm a little bit outside of my budget or where I want to be. So that makes me think, okay, going forward, and that's probably part of the reason why I started canceling pre-orders. I'm like, okay, I've already picked up a few things for the year, and I'm only 3 months into the year. And I know Legion's Con's coming. I've got pre-orders that are coming. I've got waves of Legions that are coming. That's scaring me. So I need to start.
Do you think you've gone too hard on Legions? Because didn't you pick up both the all-in on the last 2 waves?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
and honestly,
honestly,
that's a great point. Like, I feel like even though I love Mythic Legions, I feel like Cosmic's probably going to take the cake for me. So in regards to the 2 different lines, right?
And the only reason I said, like, a lot of times, like, there's an expression where, like, I'm already gonna fuck this expression up, but it's like you're hungry, but it's like you're visually hungry, and you're not really. You're more hungry with your eyes than what you are with your stomach, So it's like you go to the buffet table and you get all this food because you're like, oh my god, it's so great. And then you're sitting down, you're eating, you're like, oh fuck, I'm so full, and you still have like 4 plates.
I only like these 3 things.
So do you feel like you went like that, or you're
probably
at that?
Yeah, I went a little hard on Legions right at first because I feel like I had to make up some ground, and not that I dislike anything that I've purchased, but I probably haven't appreciated everything as much as I should.
Right. So I feel like at the end of the year, it's just gonna be like Legions.
It's gonna be overloaded.
And I'm just gonna be able to see. You're gonna be like Wilson from Home Improvement, just gonna see your eyes and just all Legions.
Yeah, and one way to get around that is a goal of mine is to continue to partner with AZ Toy Hunters Guild Mike on going to these toy shows and selling.
Right. There you go.
I want to make that more of a reoccurring thing and not just a once a year type of thing. I know you've
Yeah.
got like a monthly one. We don't have really
Yeah.
monthly, but we do have one that's like maybe every 3 months.
Oh, okay.
So I'm making a point to do that and really put my time into what is going into those boxes. What am I going to sell? Add more things to the box each time I go.
Have you found it easier to sell stuff?
I have.
Yeah.
There's something about seeing somebody in person and just giving them cash
Yep.
and them
It's way
walking
better.
away with it. And you're just,
Way
wow, this
better.
is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I've got this cash now that I didn't have before, and this figure's gone that I've been worrying about getting rid of. And it's just, it's a great experience. I have to maybe be, just keep lowering those prices until I get it gone. You know, if there's something that didn't sell last time, I'm going to lower the price next time I go.
Yeah.
So that it's gone. Because the plan is come home with the least amount possible.
Oh,
and I'm still coming home with like 2 boxes of stuff. I'm like, man, I didn't get rid of enough.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And maybe it's just the time of the year and people aren't willing to sell. And I usually have higher dollar items like Mezco and Mofex, and a lot of people there sell Legends and just cheaper stuff, and I get that. But you know, if my goal is to really let go of stuff, I gotta stop thinking about trying to make any profit. You know, I see people like Cheney and
Cheyenne. Yeah.
I had to make sure I had
Cheyenne.
it in my head. I'm like, don't say it wrong.
Cheyenne 180. Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna screw me up now. Cheney. But you know, I really respect his way of selling because he's clear he wants to get rid of that, and he is selling
It's
it
like
for
Mario.
a great price.
Mario sells.
Mario's the
It's
same.
like, what them ankles do, baby? I'm like, damn, those prices. Like, just send it to me. Come on, here's $5. Send it to me.
If you're really trying to sell it, it will sell at the right price. But if you're trying to be a bit more greedy, which is fine if that's what you're trying to do, then you're going to hold on to that for a little bit longer.
Yeah. No, and going back to like sticking to that plan, like that's my plan this year. Some of the goals is just really getting no bins, like no figure left behind, no bins, just empty bins. And it has been making it easier. Attending these monthly toy sales, which this month I'm not going to be able to attend. We'll be out of town, but like I already it's the end of the month. I prepare. I start throwing more stuff into the bins and the boxes and setting up the tables, and now I kind of have like a process where I'm okay, now here's the loose stuff, I'm adding more. It's crazy, I'm finding more and more stuff that I had mock, and I'm like, it's been a long time since I was a mock collector. I'm like, I don't like being a mock collector, so anything that's still mint in box definitely needs to be on the for sale table, because unless I plan on opening it and displaying it, I should be selling it, which I have some NECA stuff that's still mint on box, and I'm like, I need to either open it or sell it. And sell it.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
If you've had a figure for 6 months and it's still in its box, you've never taken it out, probably a good indicator that you should get rid of it. At least in my eyes.
No.
That's how I'm sort of treating it too.
Yep. That's a lot of stuff up here in this room and the only reason it's been in a box is because I haven't been able to fully display. Like, y'all know the story. Mario came in and broke 2 of my detolfs, so that stuff had to go in boxes, and that stuff did used to be displayed. So I need to like go back to the drawing board, figure out my layout so I can have the figures that I at one point I had displayed back up on display, and then room for the new stuff that I want to display. And then just get rid of the old stuff that's always been in bins, because we all have stuff that eventually has been in bins since like day one. That stuff needs to go. And I, at this point, I'm okay with letting this stuff go.
Yeah, and I know, guys, we talk about selling a lot on here, but
yeah,
it's just something that me and Prime, I think, are trying to focus more on. Rather than keep adding to the pile, let's try to make the pile more manageable.
Yeah, quality or quantity.
Keep it at it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep what you really want and get rid of what you don't think you need. How hard is it really to get some of this stuff? Maybe some of the stuff is more valuable, but I'd say the majority of what you have is probably easy to get your hands on again if you end up wanting it. And that's how I try to sell stuff. Sometimes I'll sell stuff that's rare, but I try to sell things that, like, if I really want this again, I can get it.
Yeah. If it's been in a bin, I mean, like, come on.
But if it's just been sitting in storage and I have limited space as it is, I'd rather free up the space. That makes me feel better about my collection, knowing that it's just not out of control and it's more organized, and just cohesive. It makes
So,
sense.
do you see yourself this year like really focusing? Like when's that first wave coming in from Legions? In the next couple
It's going to
months?
be Cosmic Wave 1, which I'm actually really excited about. Like, I don't want you guys to
Yeah.
get the wrong idea. I don't dislike Legions. I actually
Yeah, yeah.
really like them a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been backing off on Mezco and other stuff and the comic stuff. I'm not getting as much into that. But Cosmic Wave 1 is going to be coming, I think, in sometime in May, I would guess. Just
So
based
like
on
your summer like feed, it's just gonna be all cosmic. Like we're gonna see lots of pics from you this summer.
and that's what I want to do too.
Yeah, like this year
I
it's
don't
gonna be
always
like
take
Legion.
pictures of what I get in the door,
Yeah.
and that's a goal of mine. Like I got to take
Yeah.
more pics of what I'm getting, and
Yeah.
I've just been slowing down in general with pics because it's just I've got a lot going on in my life, and
Yeah.
I try to make time for it where I can, but I've got other priorities too. I'm trying to exercise more and get out and get more into basketball and things like that. So I'm just trying to, when I have free time, like, do I want to take a shot? Do I want to play a game, or should I go outside and get some exercise?
Do I want to take somebody to the hole?
Yeah. Do I
Break
want to
them
take my wife out to dinner or something?
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Go to the
There's
hole.
only one thing I want to do.
What that means.
And you tonight.
Sure. There's only one thing I want to do, and you're that one thing.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Wait, what's going on? Why do you have your basketball shorts on?
Right.
And you're in Tevas. No, so and that's kind of like, okay, we're first quarter's done, and now second quarter's going to be coming up. Next, we're going to be, summertime. It's SDCC. It's going to be crazy. Bunch of reveals. Stuff's going to be dropping. It's going to be next thing you know, like Christmas is going to be around the corner. I know we're only in March, but just start thinking like we're going to be talking 2024 top 10 for 2023. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, SDCC
hopefully
is
this
like
year,
3 months away.
Yeah, so. Hopefully this year I get to dip my toes into more Legions. I make the full transition into like a different scale. I've been really like, since last year, I've been tempted to do more, and I have Joy Toy stuff still in box. Like there's still me on card. I have some mechs I haven't opened up. I have a couple figures. I'm like, and I paused because I had so much stuff in bins. I'm like, I need to get rid of all these legends so I can have space for this 118. So that's my goal for this year is hopefully I get into a new line or even more third party, but really dive more into 118 scale. Just because I had so much fun with the little exposure I did get to experience. I really want to hopefully get back into the toy photography and like start taking some more pictures and be able to create and build stuff around that 118th world.
I would love to see that, man.
Yeah.
More toy photos from
Prime. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully this helps you guys. As you guys are liking the episode, because please always hit that like button. It means a lot. It's a small gesture that goes a long way. Really does help out me in Prime. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you guys are thinking. What's your pulse check? What are things you're going to change? What figures you picked up that you regret getting? Or, what does your future look like for 2023? We'd love to hear from you. So please leave those comments. And if you're not subscribed, then what are you doing with your lives? Talk about pulse checks.
Writing out anonymous emails to random people. Come on.
Yeah.
Get your life together.
Getting troll emails and trolling back.
Yeah.
I can't help but troll back. But I digress. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss when we post new episodes or go live. But that's not the end of the show. We're just transitioning into the other half of our show, which the first section is pre-orders.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, budget life, but pre-orders. It's a
getting ready
vicious cycle.
What's new on the shelf?
Well, there's some things that are new that I'm actually thankful for because I'm saving some money. And I'm talking about the Mezco Ghost Spider.
What
do you think?
I'm waiting for Mayfix.
We haven't really talked about this one.
I'm just like, I was excited, but then I'm like, I know Mayfix is gonna kill it. So, or Sentinel. Yeah, probably Sentinel is gonna kill it. So I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't shoot me over the moon. Like some of these poses, I'm like, that's very mediocre.
Yes.
Like that, right? So it looks like she's trying to break dance. And
yeah, like what's happening here? I don't understand.
I don't know if she tripped. Like she came through and she tripped. She's like, she's like, yeah. It's tough. It's tough for soft goods, and I mean, it's a Spider-Man figure.
Yeah.
So it needs to have that crazy articulation. I just don't
Yeah,
think.
what's going on with this?
Yeah, and like I don't know. It literally it's like should it look like she's wearing yoga pants or
She looks
a
so
tracksuit?
casual here. Yeah.
She looks. Yeah, that pose right there. She's like she's like doing squats on a. I don't know. Like
Right.
it's just not very dynamic. Like I don't know.
The head sculpt doesn't look great. Maybe it's just the paint. I'm not a fan.
It looks really blah.
Yes.
Yeah, it does look.
I
Really
don't know. The
blah.
hair's not right, or the face looks too
Expression.
big.
It looks
And
very.
also, if you read the description, apparently this doesn't come off.
Oh.
The watch. I don't know what the hell the official
Her
name is for
iPhone
that.
10.
Yeah, right.
From,
iPhone 10
from the future.
straight to the Pulse device. Yeah, I guess it doesn't come off, which is pretty disappointing if that's true.
Yeah.
Again, what's up with this pose, man? This is one of those not the amazing solicitations, which really shows.
That's crazy. It does, yeah.
Somebody's just learning Photoshop or something. I don't know. These are rough. But yeah, the pants look like yoga pants. They don't look like a cohesive suit. It looks like two different pieces.
It does.
And I know we're being super critical. There may be people that bought this, and that's awesome. We're not trying to make you second guess your purchase. We're just giving you guys our own feedback.
I just hope the articulation's on there. It's just I'm not completely sold on this.
Yeah, I was really hoping we would see evidence of a new female buck, because that's been the thing where the female bucks only have 90 degrees in range. And these photos look like, and this one, I feel like it's maybe a little photoshopped.
Yeah.
I don't think she's getting more than 90. That's just me.
Yeah. It looks like she has the same 90.
Yeah, the original female buck we've seen for years from Mezco. I was really hoping with a spider figure you would give us something with double jointed elbows and knees. And maybe I'm wrong, but based on what I'm seeing on these images, it looks single jointed to me.
And the accessories aren't like wowing to me. I'm like, okay, some Porto stuff. Like again, if Sentinel, it's that figure's gonna be killer. Mafex does, theirs is, they have that Spider-Man. It's a little on the thin side, but Sentinel's gonna kill it with. They've been killing it with the Peter B. Parker. They killed it with the Miles.
Yeah, I said this in the Discord. When it comes to spider figures, I stick with Mafex or Sentinel for posability.
Imports, right? Because that's really what we're going for, and it's tough. Like that's just not. It doesn't translate well for a soft goods figure, especially with what Mezco is bringing to the table. Is the articulation is going to be limited because of the soft goods. That's a given. They look good only in vanilla. Sometimes in vanilla poses, when it comes to, again, the certain character and you want to have them in a really dynamic pose, it's going to be tough. And ultimately, if you consistently have them in like this really dynamic pose, it's going to show that wear and tear on the figure. So
look at that bend. It is so.
That's really
such a 90-degree angle right there. Yeah. You can tell the legs aren't fully bending. I don't know.
Yeah.
$105. If this is for you, awesome. Just not for me in Prime.
It's gonna be a pass for me.
Mafex doing their monthly thing where they show off 2 new figures. You got the Mafex Bo-Katan, which you've been watching The Mandalorian. She's a big part of the new season. So that's pretty cool. I think this is very timely for that reason. Actually, a really great looking figure.
It does.
She's a really cool character in the show. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a little tempted. I don't have any Star Wars stuff, so I'm like,
I can't get into it, or else
I can't do it.
Bad.
I
haven't picked up any of the Mandalorian or Boba Fett stuff just because I'm like, nope, that's a slippery slope. Yeah, but the figure looks amazing, and it's going to be good. It's Mafex.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So that went up. If you guys,
that's an unfortunate pass for me.
There's the Mafex Ultraman, which we've got quite a few Ultramans. It's crazy how Ultraman's becoming more and more present. SHF, we've got Mezco doing one, now Mafex. I know there's probably been a lot of others out there that I'm not mentioning, but if you're into Ultraman, then here's your Mafex version.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I didn't know there was such a demand for Ultraman.
I think kaiju stuff in general just seems to be
coming back now, huh?
Yeah, coming back. Especially with the new Kaiju Collective and all that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Speaking of Cosmic, we've got the final figure. I think that's going to be part of the new Outpost Zaxius Wave, Altar Silovius, I think is this guy's name. He's one of the gray born aliens. We've seen this one before in Wave 2. Not this figure specifically, but this race of legions. So this is a new one. If you're into aliens, this is really kind of up your alley. I like the way these look. Shout out to Trevor for his promo picks. I think these 5 are going to be the 5 of the new wave, or I should say 6, excuse me, plus maybe one more accessory pack or something. I don't think that's going to be the end of it, but these are going to go up on March 31st. And then we've got Marvel Legends, Game Reverse Miles Morales 2, the second Game Reverse Miles Morales. I don't know why there's 2. I don't know the differences of each. I guess this one maybe is just
that pulsing. It comes with those effects.
Oh, okay, that's why it's different. Got it. So that's coming out soon. It also comes with a cat. Cats are your thing.
There you go. Some of us chase cats, some of us don't.
Yeah, D Amazing's probably like, okay, I got to get it for the cat. And then we'll do one more. Storm did the Cyber Blue.
Yeah.
Blue figure. I don't know anything about this.
I don't know anything, but it looks freaking kick-ass.
It does look really cool. Every time I see Storm in images, I'm like, just, like every time Mr. Lee takes a shot of a Storm figure, I'm like, I want that figure now.
Yep.
He sells me. I don't know anything about Cyber Blue, but this looks pretty cool. A futuristic kind of soldier-looking guy.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that Storm, because we talked about this recently, they kind of do a lot of the same stuff. So it's cool that Storm is branching out in yet another line. I hope we get more stuff more frequently.
Yep. Because it'd be tough. You're going to have like this future, I don't know, Ken and Terminator had a baby.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even know he had a sword arm. This is cool.
And then it's like, and then what? Like who? I don't know.
Right.
You need to have the like everything. The figure looks awesome. Who's he going to fight?
Right.
Superman?
Who's he going to team up with?
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool. He comes with a bare chest, which is different. Normally you don't see 2 different torsos.
Just keep pumping them out, Storm, more frequently.
Yeah, please. Because I need to spend more money. All right. Going into Plastic Confessions.
Oh, I got a token.
What do you got for this week, Prime?
Token.
You getting tokens? Oh,
that's it.
Boy. I'm almost at a token. Let me take these out actually before I say anything. Oops. But Poncheezy, a while ago, put up a pre-order for his dynamic little dusties.
Oh, nice.
And I love using smoke effects and stuff in my shots. If you guys follow my stuff, then you know that. But yeah, I got some dynamic little dusties from him.
Awesome.
And these are the painted versions. Yeah, these are really cool. I can't wait to use these in shots. Just, 3D printed props.
Yeah, they look great.
But yeah, I'm always trying to support people in the community. I love seeing stuff like this.
That's
so
awesome.
I grabbed myself a set and
Killer.
I figure like these are really good price for what you're getting. So very excited to use them. There's tons of different variety. If you guys are interested, I think it's an open pre-order. So he just basically puts you in queue.
Yeah, hit him up.
He'll say like, hey, you're number 30. And then eventually you'll get a DM and says, hey, your order is here. Are you still interested? If you are, send me the money and then I'll send it to you. So yeah, thank you to Poncheezy. Very excited to use these. Really cool idea. I love stuff like that.
Awesome.
That was my only plastic confession for
there
the week. Dirty Trick. I don't know if I've said this before, but if you're not doing it, I definitely recommend it. And it's shooting in RAW.
Who doesn't love to shoot in RAW? Come on. Yeah,
if you're not familiar with RAW is a file format like a JPEG, but unlike a JPEG, it captures all of the image data recorded by your camera's sensor rather than compressing it. So if you use JPEG, it's compressing the image and you're not getting the best quality.
Now, okay, I'm a newbie. Just got my first DSLR camera. Is it default to RAW or is it set to a different?
I think normally it's set to JPEG, so you have to kind of manually change it to RAW. So if you don't know how to do it, it's very specific for each camera. You need to look up some kind of menu and figure out where to go. It is a bigger file, so you'll notice that they're bigger files. But the good thing about RAW is that it lets you transform the quality of your images a lot easier. So with JPEGs, a lot of the times you've got some kind of filter or some kind of color thing going on there, or something that's controlling all of the way your image looks, the color it is,
And
the
sometimes doesn't
clarity,
it compresses it?
and it compresses the image as
Yeah.
well. So when
Yeah.
Instagram's already compressing stuff.
Right.
So if you're getting a JPEG, you've already compressed your image, and then you're posting it again, and it gets compressed again.
Yeah.
If you do it in RAW, you're getting the raw image, like the
Right.
full raw image with all the sensor image data. I don't know. I just had a brain fart.
Yeah.
And it's better to edit photos that are raw because it's in its raw format. It's not been changed. So if you're not doing that, I definitely recommend it. If you're not sure how to change it, don't DM me because it's it's specific to each camera. Look at your camera's menu or look it up online.
Or DM Nate and be like, how do I do it raw? Just simple as that.
Yeah. And
should
you'll
I do
probably
it
get
raw?
a much different answer than what you're expecting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably mentioned that before, but if you're not doing it, I really recommend it because it's better for editing purposes. Unless you're using a phone, you don't really have that choice.
No,
it's for DSLR cameras.
That took it took me a good minute to figure out the settings on that because I was taking the pictures and I was sometimes having challenges when it came to like just making small edits and the formatting, right? And then I did look at some tutorials and they, everyone or every tutorial I should say that I was watching, it said, hey, a good tip for novice photographers is the very first thing is just making sure that your formatting is set to raw because it's much more easier to manipulate and to kind of put in whatever editing software you're using, whether it's Photoshop or something else. It's going to be much more easier to apply certain filters, and you can easily see the difference between like your shot versus like if you throw it into some type of editing software and maybe you want to change the lighting or you want to do this, and then as you export it, it's going to give you much more options rather than just, or you're already starting off the JPEG. There's only so many outputs that you can choose from. So
exactly
at the end of the day, it's easy. Yeah, and they are much bigger files because I remember I had to have like a separate external hard drive just to save all my raw pictures. But then there's ways to compress them. There's ways to save them, and it's much easier to have like duplicate copies. Be like, okay, this is my sepia tone because we all went through our sepia tone phase, or this is my black and white photo, or this is so it's always good to have that original photos kind of saved somewhere.
Right. Raw photos are probably going to need more post-processing work than a JPEG because a JPEG has some kind of filter or something on it. But I guarantee you'll get better quality shots and better quality editing if you take the photo as raw and put it in a photo editing software that way.
And the differences are quite quite noticeable. Like and especially once you start learning, like you start really taking the time to learn about how your camera works, the lighting, all the basics, all the 101s when it comes to photography. You can really tell versus, especially with your own pictures, like, man, this photo is in a raw format. I'm like, oh man, I can see how the lighting really affected. And then it gives you a much better sense of learning the next aspect, which a lot of times it is lighting, and then like composing the figure and all that good stuff.
Yeah, to Prime's point, if you've got a DSLR and you still don't know how it works, you're really doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
You need to learn how that camera works and what you can do to manipulate your images because you're really going to help yourself out.
Manual mode versus auto?
Manual, I always recommend manual. It's more difficult, yes.
It is.
But you have a lot more control. Whereas automatic's just going to assume you want things a certain way. And I was
the newbie with the auto, just click, 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 click. I'm like, that's great. Post it to Instagram, 1,000 likes.
Well, and automatic stuff usually isn't a JPEG format because the camera's picking everything for you.
Yep.
It's
it's hard lesson learned.
Whereas in RAW, it may not look as good as a JPEG right off the camera, but after post processing, it will look better than a JPEG.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Do it raw.
Do it raw, exactly.
Shooting pictures.
Yes, shoot pictures raw, everyone. And last but certainly not least, and we haven't had a fan suggestion in a while, so I really hope whoever's listening has an idea, about, hey, this is a guy that could use some recognition. Right. Where are you? Leave a comment. Let us know. Just who do you like? Who haven't we mentioned before? What's a photographer that you always are going to their shots? You're like, man, this guy needs to be on the figure booth to be recognized. So our figure aficionado is what we're talking about
this week.
And this week from courtesy of Prime. If I can pull it up. Where is it at?
Let's get it up.
There we go.
Get it up.
Legendary poser.
Hey-o.
Mandip. I don't know if it's his first name or not, but he's a fan of the podcast. I don't want to assume.
No, yeah. You're right.
know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not only a fan of the podcast, but I've DM'd with him quite a few times, and he's just a great photographer. You can really see his passion through his work for not only figures, but for the photography. I love the snake eyes and timber shot.
Yeah.
With that self-made explosion effect in the back.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Work More or Less posted a shot of how to make those effects.
Yeah.
They're actually easier than you think.
Super easy.
Yeah, and this shot with Carnage, and Spider-Man. You've got J. Jonah Jameson in the back screaming at them. And I guess it's Jonah's car. I love that idea. This is just, you can just tell he's got passion for
killer.
for the setup, and the posing's on point, very dynamic. I mean, I don't see any wires really holding the figures up except for maybe Spidey's wire on that light.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just some really awesome work. I love the light from underneath. I would have never thought about doing that. This Miles shot's really cool out in the city. He did this lighting effect with a loom cube just as a reflection. He just shined it at the background. It's a reflective background, so it created a moon.
Wow.
Really easy way to do that. I like his BTS because he shows a lot of behind the scenes. This awesome shot with Croc Hunter and Crocmaster, excuse me.
Yeah.
And Killer Croc. A great idea to combine the two. He's hunting.
And then Peter B. Parker's just in the back, like, oh, snap.
Yeah, he's like, oh, snap. Okay, he's doing my work for me.
Yeah.
That's funny. Just awesome work. This one with MJ.
I'm like, we've all been there.
Exactly.
I'm like, hey, put the star. Put the.
Just right. It's more of like, should I smack or not? Is this gonna piss her off?
I'll do it anyway.
I'll do it anyway. What the hell?
Yeah. It's Christmas, right?
Yeah, right. And then this Christmas shot. But yeah, shout out to you, cool. Legendary poser. I'm loving your work, dude. And like he says, he's a middle-aged, bald, cargo shorts. He's a triple threat. So give this guy a follow. Go support him. Yeah, he deserves it. He's taking some great photography. Keep it up, man. We see you. So yeah, let us know, guys. If you have somebody out there that you want to support, please leave a comment or DM us. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. That's it. We made it to another end of our episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that talk, the dialogue we had. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know that feedback. And what do you want to see more of? What other topics should we tackle? Who else should we have on the show? Let us join us in this journey. Let's go. Budget Boost 2023.
Yeah, let us know what topics you guys want, or to Prime's point, who do you want to hear from? Yep. Who's somebody in the community that you'd like to hear from? But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for joining. And we'll see you on our next episode. Prime, where can they find you?
You guys can all catch me under Prime to the First on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
You guys can find me at FigureFan_Nate on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Till next time, guys.